I'm a professional video game designer and developer for Revym Entertainment, and with many years of game development experience, I can tell you in detail the game developer's perspective on games. I hope you can use this developer insight to come to appreciate the hard work of the game developer and have a more fulfilling gaming experience when playing any game. Without hesitation, let me show you what I mean. Revym Entertainment was founded a month or two after Second's Guess, our first project, began development. The game took 11 months of work from a small team of incredibly talented people. We worked on every aspect of the game, the graphics and audio, the input systems, and everything else down to the smallest things. While the results of the team's work were well-rounded, I'm not afraid to say that, for Revym as an organization, the development costs on Second's Guess were massive. To combat this, we cut costs at Revym again and again and again, while also changing our development process. Eventually, development had become efficient enough that we could launch Revym Entertainment online in a commercial form. I've single-handedly developed additional titles for Revym to publish, and while development has become cost-effective, it still takes hard work, collaboration, and critical decision-making to do it right. As a game developer, I often work on every aspect of a game down to the smallest things. It takes a ridiculous amount of work to get from a few lines of code to a full game. All a computer can do is read some data, use it to calculate something new, and write the results somewhere else. One example of this for Second's Guess is when I had to create the fog shader using the graphics programming language named HLSL to determine the color tint to be applied to each pixel on the screen. The opacity of the fog is calculated as 1 minus the decay of that pixel. The decay effect is calculated using two numbers, a constant number representing the intended opacity of the fog, usually 3/5 to 4/5, exponentiated by the 3D distance of the pixel. This distance is calculated by taking the z-value of the pixel as determined by the 3D geometry drawn just before, and multiplying it by the Euclidean factor of a point dx dy. This Euclidean factor is calculated as the square root of the sum of dx squared and dy squared. dy is just the y-coordinate of the pixel minus the y-coordinate of the center point of the screen. dx is calculated similarly, finding the x-coordinate of the pixel minus the x-coordinate of the center of the screen, but before it can be used, dx must be multiplied by the aspect ratio of the screen. Otherwise, the 3D shape of the fog would be stretched depending on whether the device you're using is in landscape or portrait mode. As a game designer and programmer, my job is often to literally define the programmatic relationships between numbers, and somehow turn that into a final, coherent game experience. The only way to get it done is to just keep building up the game's code, and over a serious amount of time, everything loosely comes together. From there, it only takes a few code reviews and finishing touches to ensure everything in the game is logically connected. Once that's done, there are many other tasks a game developer may take on to bring the game to a playable state. Testing, reworking, and notably changing course during development to meet budget constraints or similar are the basics. My work role in particular additionally includes different aspects of marketing these games, with the primary goal of making these games accessible to many and presenting them to an audience on multiple platforms. If you'd like to hear more about the finer details of what it's like to make a video game, let us know in the comments, or you can just look forward to the next insight video in this series, Deep Insight. Until then, when you play a game, think lightly on the effort it must have taken for the team to put it all together. You can use such a perspective as insight to come to appreciate the hard work of the game developer and have a more fulfilling gaming experience when playing any game. You're watching Game Resolve by Revym Entertainment. Try free games, videos, and more linked below. Curiosity, attention.